Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into a topic that I think has probably captured all of our imaginations at some point. UFOs, or as they're more formally known now, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, it's one of those topics that just never seems to go away, does it?
It really doesn't. And for this deep dive, we have a great document to work from, all about UFOs.pdf, a pretty straightforward title.
Straightforward and packed with information.
So are we ready to move beyond those little green men and flying saucer stereotypes?
I think it's time.
Yeah.
And, the document actually starts right there with a shift in terminology from UFO to UAP. It really highlights a move toward a more scientific approach, wouldn't you say?
So it's more than just a name change.
Right. It's like a deliberate effort to get away from all the sensationalism, the pop culture baggage that comes with the term UFO. By using UAP, government agencies, especially in the U.S., are signaling a more rigorous, data-driven approach to investigating these phenomena.
I see. They're trying to rebrand the conversation, make it less about aliens and more about credible data.
Exactly. And it's interesting because, as the document points out, reports of unexplained aerial phenomena go way back, long before we even had the technology to properly investigate them.
Oh, you mean like those ancient Egyptian circles of fire mentioned in the Tully Papyrus?
Yeah, exactly. And there are even accounts from ancient Rome, descriptions of what they call phantom ships sailing across the sky. Seems humans have always been fascinated by strange sights in the heavens.
So this isn't just a modern obsession fueled by science fiction, then?
Definitely not. But things really took off in the mid-20th century, wouldn't you say?
Right, the modern UFO era, as we know it.
Exactly.
Uh.
And that all started with Kenneth Arnold's sighting in 1947, what he described as flying saucers. And that's where we get that iconic term, by the way.
The birth of the flying saucer. But wait, didn't something else happen that same year? Something even more mysterious?
Ah, you're talking about Roswell, of course. The alleged crash of a flying disc that the military initially confirmed, then retracted this statement and claimed it was a weather balloon.
And that's what really kicked off all those conspiracy theories, right?
Oh, absolutely. Roswell became ground zero for all kinds of speculation. But even beyond Roswell, this document mentions so many other fascinating cases.
Like the Rendlesham Forest incident in the UK?
Right. Military personnel reporting strange lights, even an encounter with a craft. And then there's the Belgium UFO wave. Triangular objects tracked on radar. Pretty wild stuff.
And don't forget the Phoenix Lights here in the U.S. Thousands of people saw that massive V-shaped object hovering in the sky.
Oh, for sure. And the Westall incident in Australia, where hundreds of students and teachers at a school saw a disc-shaped object landing nearby.
It's like every corner of the world has its own UAP story to tell.
It really is. But with so many reports spanning centuries and cultures, how have governments and scientists tried to make sense of it all? Have there been any real attempts at serious investigation?
Well, that's what I'm hoping we can unpack next.
Let's do it. The document actually dives into some of those efforts, and there's a lot to talk about.
Great. So where should we begin? What were some of the first serious attempts to investigate UAPs?
Well, one of the most well-known is Project Blue Book, a U.S. Air Force program that ran from 1952 all the way to 1969. They investigated over 12,000 UFO reports.
Wow, 12,000. And what did they find?
Well, they managed to explain most of those reports. Misidentified aircraft, weather phenomena, hoaxes, things like that.
But I bet there were some they couldn't explain.
Oh, absolutely. There was a small percentage of cases that just remained unexplained.
And those are the ones that really capture the imagination, aren't they?
Totally. But things get even more intriguing when you look at more recent programs, some of them highly classified. Like, have you heard of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, ATIP?
Oh yeah, ATIP. It was all over the news a few years back.
Right, a Pentagon program focused on investigating military encounters with UAPs. And then in 2017, we got those declassified videos from ATIP, Go Fast, Gimbal, and Tic Tac. Those videos really shook things up.
I remember those. The objects were moving in ways that just seemed impossible, defying gravity, exceeding any known aircraft capabilities.
Exactly. Those videos were game changer. They brought a level of credibility to the UAP discussion that hadn't been there before. Suddenly, it wasn't just fringe theories and grainy photos.
So it feels like the government is taking UAPs more seriously now, but are they specifically looking for aliens, or is it more about national security?
It's a good question. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, has been going on for decades, but I think for these government programs, the focus is more on potential threats, unknown technologies that might pose a risk to national security. But the document does get into some fascinating stuff about the possibility of alien life.
Oh, like what?
Well, it mentions the Drake equation, which tries to estimate the number of technologically advanced civilizations that might exist in our galaxy.
Wait, break that down for me. What is this Drake equation?
It's not about getting a definitive answer, really. It's more about understanding the factors that might influence the possibility of extraterrestrial life. For example, one variable is the rate of star formation in our galaxy. The idea being more stars, more potential planets, and potentially more life out there.
So it's like a way to assess the odds, even if we can't be certain.
Right. And it's not just about searching for little green men anymore. The field of astrobiology is exploring the conditions necessary for life to exist elsewhere, looking for signs of microbial life or even more complex organisms beyond Earth.
Okay, so the possibility of extraterrestrial life is still very much on the table.
Definitely.
But let's bring it back down to Earth for a moment. I mean, UFOs and UAPs have had a massive impact on popular culture, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. Movies, TV shows, books, video games, they're everywhere.
And the document talks about how those portrayals have actually shaped public perception.
Right. Early science fiction, like H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, played on those fears of invasion. Then you have shows like The Twilight Zone and The X-Files that brought in government conspiracies, the paranormal. It all feeds into the mystery.
Their shows definitely left an impression. And what about documentaries? Those have shaped the narrative too, haven't they?
Definitely. You have documentaries like The Phenomenon, which pushes for government transparency, the release of classified information.
Right. And then there are others like Unacknowledged that are more into the conspiracy theory, suggesting governments are actively covering up alien contact.
Right. You see the whole spectrum of perspectives there. And then you can't forget about the internet. The internet and social media have been huge.
Oh, yeah, with those viral videos like the Pentagon UAP footage we were talking about earlier. Those really sparked a resurgence of interest.
Totally. And then you have online communities like, Reddit's Are UFOs, where people are constantly sharing sightings, theories, alleged leaked documents.
It's a double-edged sword, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. While the internet can be great for sharing information and research, it also creates this breeding ground for misinformation.
It can be hard to separate fact from fiction sometimes.
Exactly. And, the document makes a good point about how the interpretation of these events varies across cultures. This isn't just a Western obsession. UAPs are a global phenomenon.
Right. Every culture has its own lens through which they view the unknown.
Exactly. Like, take the Valençol incident in France. A farmer reported an encounter with a craft and beings who spoke in a strange language. Then you have the Virginia incident in Brazil, with alleged sightings of creatures and military involvement, fueling rumors of captured aliens.
And what about the Voronezh incident in Russia? That was a wild one. People claiming to have seen a massive spacecraft land in a park and humanoid figures emerge.
Right. So many different stories, different interpretations. Western cultures tend to lean towards scientific or technological explanations, while indigenous cultures might link UAPs to spirits or ancestors.
It's fascinating how the same phenomenon can be seen through so many different cultural lenses.
It speaks to our human need to make sense of the unknown, doesn't it? To find explanations that fit within our existing belief systems. But I think we can't talk about UAPs without addressing the, shall we say, elephant in the room.
You mean conspiracy theories?
Oh yeah, the conspiracy theories. They're almost inseparable from the UFO phenomena.
I mean, how can you not go down that rabbit hole? It's too tempting.
Exactly. And the document actually traces how those theories have evolved over time.
Oh, I bet Roswell is a big part of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
The military's shifting explanations about the Roswell incident have fueled decades of speculation.
Government cover-ups, crashed alien spacecraft, it's all classic conspiracy theory fodder.
And then you have Area 51, the legendary top-secret military base in Nevada.
Area 51, practically synonymous with alien conspiracies.
Right. Rumors of reverse-engineered alien technology hidden away there.
Oh, and don't forget about figures like Bob Lazar, who claimed to have worked on extraterrestrial spacecraft at Area 51.
Exactly. And then it just spirals from there. Majestic 12, alien abductions, secret government alien collaborations. It's enough to make your head spin.
It really is. But, the document does point out that there's a movement advocating for more government transparency, a group calling themselves the Disclosure Movement.
Right. They're pushing for the release of classified information, demanding answers about what governments really know about UFOs and potential extraterrestrial contact.
I guess it's fair to say there are some legitimate questions there, even if we try to be critical of the wilder conspiracy theories.
Absolutely. But the document also delves into some really fascinating psychological and sociological factors that might contribute to our fascination with UAPs.
Wait, so you're saying it's not just about what's happening in the sky. Our own minds might be playing a role in how we perceive these events.
Exactly. The document talks about cognitive biases like, for example, pareidolia, our tendency to see patterns where there might not be any, like seeing faces in clouds or animals in rock formations.
So our brains are wired to look for patterns even when they don't exist.
Exactly. And then there's confirmation bias. We tend to favor information that supports our existing beliefs and dismiss evidence that contradicts them. So if you already believe in aliens, you're probably more likely to interpret a strange light in the sky as a UFO.
So our minds could be tricking us into seeing things that aren't really there. That's both fascinating and a little bit unnerving.
I know, right? But it helps explain why this topic is so enduring, why we keep coming back to these questions, trying to make sense of the unknown.
It's true. And the document takes this even further, exploring the connection between religion and UFOs.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fascinating intersection. Throughout history, people have sought spiritual meaning in unexplained phenomena.
I guess it makes sense. If you see something in the sky that you can't explain, it's natural to try to fit it into your existing belief system.
Right. Like in the Bible, there's Ezekiel's vision that describes this strange, fiery chariot in the sky. And Hindu texts talk about vimanas, flying chariots of the gods.
And many indigenous cultures around the world have traditions that link UAPs to spirits or ancestors. So even in ancient times, people were trying to find a spiritual context for these events.
Exactly. And, the document also touches on the theological questions that alien life would raise for modern religions. What does it mean for human uniqueness? How does it challenge our understanding of God and creation? These are big questions that theologians and philosophers have been grappling with for centuries.
It's true. The implications go far beyond just the scientific realm.
Absolutely. But we also need to remember that UAPs raise some very real-world concerns as well.
Oh, right. The document brings up some legal, ethical, and environmental issues.
Exactly.
Yep.
UAPs appearing in restricted airspace, for instance, raise serious national security and safety issues. And then there's the ethical dilemma of weaponizing any potential alien technology if it exists.
It's like a scenario straight out of a sci-fi movie, but with very real-world consequences.
Right. And we can't forget about the potential environmental impacts. Reports of crop circles, radiation concerns, disturbances to wildlife, all possibly linked to UAP activity.
So there's a lot to consider here, from the philosophical to the practical. But I'm really curious to hear about what's been happening lately. What are some of the recent developments that have reignited public interest in UAPs?
Well, I think one of the most significant moments was the Pentagon's release of those Tic Tac, Gimbal, and Go Fast videos back in 2017.
Oh yeah, those videos were everywhere. It felt like the government was finally admitting that there was something to these sightings.
Exactly. And then in 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the ODNI, released a highly anticipated report. It analyzed 144 UAP incidents reported by military personnel and government sources.
And what did that report conclude? I remember it being a big deal at the time.
The biggest takeaway was that most of those UAP incidents remained unexplained. They even acknowledged that UAPs often exhibit flight characteristics and capabilities that are beyond our current understanding of technology.
Whoa, so the government is basically saying, we don't know what these things are.
Pretty much. It was a major admission that there are things happening in our skies that we can't easily dismiss or explain away.
So what's happened since that report? Has there been any progress in terms of research and investigation?
Oh, absolutely. One of the main outcomes of that ODNI report was the creation of new organizations dedicated to UAP research.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Well, there's the UAP Task Force, which is focused on improving data collection and analysis methods. And then there's the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AAR for short. They're taking an even broader approach.
Broader? How so?
They're not just looking at UAPs in the air. They're investigating unexplained phenomena in the sea and even in space. It's a much bigger picture now.
Wow, that's pretty wild. It sounds like they're really taking this seriously and casting a wide net. So where do you think all this is headed? What does the future hold for our understanding of UAPs?
That's the big question, isn't it? And one I think we need to tackle after a quick, well, we don't have breaks, do we?
No breaks on the deep dive. We just keep going.
That's right. So buckle up, because we're about to go even deeper into the world of UAPs.
Okay, so we've talked about the history, the sightings, the government programs. It's a lot to process. But I think the big question on everyone's mind is, where do we go from here? What's the future of UAP research?
Yeah, it's like we're standing at the edge of the unknown, looking at this vast, uncharted territory.
A cosmic frontier. So how do we even begin to chart that territory? What are the next steps?
Well, the document lays out some really interesting ideas about the future of UAP research. One that jumps out at me is the need for dedicated research institutions.
You mean like a UAP university? A place where people can study these phenomena full-time?
Exactly. I mean, we have universities and research centers for practically every field of study imaginable, but there's still a real lack of institutions specifically focused on UAPs. Imagine a place where scientists from all different disciplines, physicists, engineers, sociologists, anthropologists, could come together and collaborate, pooling their knowledge and resources to really dig into this mystery.
Wow, that would be incredible. Like a think tank for all things UAP.
Right. And think about the kinds of courses they could offer. Alien Propulsion Systems 101, the sociology of extraterrestrial contact. It's mind-blowing.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but hey, maybe science fiction is closer to reality than we think. So dedicated research institutions, that's a big one. What else do you see as being crucial for the future of UAP research?
Well, technology is obviously going to play a huge role. We're already seeing incredible advancements in fields like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, high-resolution imaging. All of these have the potential to revolutionize how we collect and analyze data, which is essential for any kind of scientific investigation, especially one as complex and challenging as UAP research.
Right, it's like we're giving researchers a superpower upgrade.
Exactly. Imagine using AI to sift through decades of witness reports, radar data, sensor readings. AI could potentially spot patterns and anomalies that humans might miss. And then quantum computers could help us model exotic propulsion systems, those objects that seem to defy our current understanding of physics. And high-resolution imaging technology could help us capture clearer, more detailed images of these objects, giving us a better understanding of their structure and behavior.
Okay, so we've got dedicated research institutions, we've got cutting-edge technology. Anything else?
Well, all of that is great, but we also need to address the ethical considerations that come with this kind of research. After all, if we're dealing with technology that's potentially far beyond our own, we need to be very careful about how we approach it.
Right, it's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And one of the most pressing concerns is the potential for weaponization. Imagine if someone got their hands on technology that could manipulate gravity or bend space-time. The implications for warfare are terrifying.
No kidding. It sounds like something out of a dystopian sci-fi movie.
And that's why it's so important that we establish clear ethical guidelines and international agreements, similar to those we have for nuclear weapons, to ensure that any advancements in UAP-related technology are used responsibly and for the benefit of all humanity.
We need a cosmic code of conduct, so to speak.
I like that. A cosmic code of conduct. That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about weaponization either. We need to consider the potential environmental impact of UAP activity as well. We've already seen reports of potential radiation effects and disturbances to wildlife.
So it's about finding that balance between exploration and responsibility, right? We need to be bold in our pursuit of knowledge, but also mindful of the potential consequences.
Exactly. It's like the Star Trek Prime Directive. Do no harm, but be prepared for the unknown.
Okay, I'm loving these analogies. Cosmic code of conduct, Star Trek Prime Directive. It's like we're writing the rule book for a whole new era of exploration. But speaking of the unknown, I think it's time we address the biggest question of all. What happens if we make contact?
Contact with an extraterrestrial intelligence. That's the ultimate wild card, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's the scenario that has captured our imaginations for centuries, fueled countless science fiction stories, and sparked endless debates. But now it's starting to feel like a real possibility. So what would that even look like? How would we communicate? What would we say? What would they say to us?
These are questions that have occupied philosophers and science fiction writers for decades. But now, with the increasing focus on UAP research, they're taking on a whole new urgency.
It's exciting and a little bit terrifying all at the same time, isn't it?
Definitely. It would be a defining moment in human history, a moment of both profound awe and potentially existential crisis. The document emphasizes the need to develop communication protocols, ethical frameworks. We need to be prepared to approach any contact with respect, humility, and a willingness to learn.
It's like we need a guidebook for intergalactic diplomacy, right?
Exactly. A handbook for navigating first contact and fostering peaceful, mutually beneficial relationships. After all, we have no idea what to expect. We could be dealing with a civilization that's thousands, maybe even millions of years ahead of us in terms of technology and understanding.
And that brings up a whole other set of questions. Would they be friendly? Would they see us as a threat? Would they even want to communicate with us?
It's impossible to know for sure, but I think the key is to approach any potential contact with a sense of humility and a willingness to learn. We need to be open to the possibility that our way of seeing the world, our values, our beliefs, may not be the only way, or even the best way.
Right, it's a chance to challenge our assumptions about ourselves and our place in the universe.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe we'll discover that we have more in common with these extraterrestrial visitors than we think. Maybe we'll find that the things that unite us, our curiosity, our creativity, our capacity for love and compassion, are universal, transcending the boundaries of language, culture, and even species.
No, that's a hopeful thought. It's like the ultimate test of our ability to connect with something truly different, something truly other.
Exactly. It's a challenge that would force us to grow, to evolve, to expand our understanding of what it means to be human in a universe that's suddenly much larger and more complex than we ever imagined.
And that brings us to another important point, doesn't it? The need for global cooperation. If we're going to face this challenge of potential extraterrestrial contact, we need to do it together as a united species, not as a collection of competing nations.
Absolutely. The document really emphasizes this idea of fostering a global mindset, recognizing that we are all in this together, facing this incredible possibility as one planet, one species.
So no more us versus them. We need to think bigger than that.
Exactly. Imagine a world where nations collaborate on UAP research, pooling their resources and expertise, not to gain a strategic advantage over each other, but to unlock the secrets of these phenomena for the benefit of all humankind.
It sounds almost utopian, but hey, maybe the prospect of extraterrestrial contact is just the kind of thing we need to finally shake things up and move beyond our petty differences.
It's a powerful thought. Imagine scientists from different countries working side by side, sharing data and insights, all driven by this shared sense of wonder and a desire to understand the universe and our place within it.
That's a vision worth striving for. And it's not just about governments and scientists either. The document also highlights the importance of public engagement.
Oh, absolutely. We need to educate the public, create platforms where people can share their experiences and observations, encourage citizen science initiatives.
So it's about empowering people, giving them the tools and knowledge to participate in this process of discovery. It's like crowdsourcing the search for answers to one of the biggest mysteries humanity has ever faced.
Exactly. Imagine millions of people around the world contributing to UAP research, observing the skies, sharing their findings, analyzing data, a truly global effort driven by curiosity, passion, and a shared desire to understand our place in the cosmos.
Wow, it's an inspiring vision. And it makes you realize that the study of UAPs is about so much more than just identifying strange objects in the sky. It's about expanding our understanding of the universe, pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, and ultimately redefining our place within the grand cosmic tapestry.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about challenging our assumptions, questioning our beliefs, and being open to the possibility that there's much more to reality than we currently understand.
And that's what makes it so exciting, right? The potential for discovery is vast. But we also need to be realistic. There are challenges ahead, obstacles we need to overcome if we want to truly unlock the secrets of UAPs.
You're absolutely right. And I think one of the biggest challenges is the stigma that still surrounds this topic. For many people, UFOs are synonymous with conspiracy theories, fringe beliefs, pseudoscience, and that makes it difficult to have a serious, open-minded conversation about UAPs.
It's like there's this unspoken rule that you can't talk about UFOs in polite company without being labeled a cook.
Exactly. And that stigma has real consequences. It discourages scientists from pursuing research in this area, makes it difficult to secure funding for legitimate investigations, and creates a barrier for public engagement.
So how do we break down those barriers? How do we make it okay to talk about UAPs openly and honestly without fear of ridicule?
I think the key is to shift the focus from speculation to science. We need to emphasize the evidence-based approach, presenting UAPs as a legitimate subject of scientific inquiry. It's about asking tough questions, examining the evidence critically, and being open to unexpected possibilities without jumping to conclusions.
So less talk about little green men and more talk about data analysis, scientific methodology, and rigorous investigation.
Precisely. We need to show people that the study of UAPs isn't about blindly believing in aliens or subscribing to wild conspiracy theories. It's about seeking knowledge and understanding through a scientific lens.
Right. It's about approaching this mystery with the same level of rigor and skepticism that we apply to any other scientific question.
Exactly. And that brings us to another major challenge: data scarcity. Many UAP sightings are anecdotal, based on eyewitness accounts that are difficult to verify. We're often dealing with grainy photos, shaky videos, and conflicting reports. It's hard to build a solid scientific foundation on that kind of evidence.
It's true. And, I think part of the data scarcity problem stems from the secrecy that has historically surrounded government investigations into UAPs. There are still so many classified documents related to these phenomena locked away in government vaults.
You're right. While there might not be a deliberate cover-up, as some conspiracy theorists suggest, there have been legitimate concerns about national security and the potential for revealing sensitive information.
Right, I understand that. But it creates a frustrating catch-22 situation.
Yeah.
We need more data to understand UAPs, but the data is often classified or difficult to access. So how do we move forward? How do we balance the need for transparency with the need for national security?
That's a tough question, and there's no easy answer. But I think part of the solution is advocating for greater transparency from governments. We need to push for the release of more information to the public, making data available for scientific scrutiny and independent analysis.
So more sunshine on the UAP issue.
Exactly. More sunshine, more data, more science. That's the recipe for progress. And I think that increased transparency would not only advance our understanding of UAPs, but also build trust and encourage collaboration between governments, scientists, and the public.
It's about breaking down those walls of secrecy and fostering a more open, collaborative approach to this mystery.
Right. And speaking of collaboration, I think we also need to do a better job of breaking down the silos between different scientific disciplines.
You're talking about the need for more interdisciplinary research.
Exactly. We need physicists talking to engineers, biologists talking to astronomers, psychologists talking to sociologists, everyone bringing their unique expertise to the table.
So no more physicists talking only to physicists and engineers talking only to engineers. We need to get everyone on the same page.
Exactly. We need to create spaces where experts from diverse fields can come together, share their knowledge, brainstorm ideas, and approach this mystery from multiple perspectives.
It sounds like the scientific equivalent of a jam session, a cosmic brainstorming party.
I love that analogy. And it's not just about the scientists either. We need to involve the public in this process of discovery. Citizen science initiatives, educational outreach programs, online platforms for sharing information and observations, these are all essential.
So you're talking about turning everyone into amateur UAP hunters.
Not necessarily hunters, but citizen scientists. With the right tools and knowledge, everyday people can play a valuable role in observing the skies, reporting sightings, and collecting data.
Right. There are millions of people around the world with smartphones, and those smartphones have cameras. That's a vast network of potential observers.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the power of the crowd, tapping into that collective curiosity and desire to explore the unknown.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, the stigma, the data scarcity, the need for more collaboration, transparency, but let's end on a positive note. Where do you see the field of UAP research heading in the next 10 years? What kind of breakthroughs do you think are possible?
Well, it's always risky to make predictions, especially when you're dealing with something as unpredictable as UAPs. But I think we're on the cusp of some truly groundbreaking advancements.
Okay, give me some specifics. I want to know what the headlines will be saying in 2035. Will we finally have confirmed contact with an alien civilization? Will we be reverse engineering their technology?
All right, let's indulge in a bit of speculation. Here are a few bold predictions, based on the trends and ideas presented in the document. First, I think we'll see the establishment of at least one, maybe even several, dedicated UAP research institutions. These institutions will bring together experts from various disciplines, providing them with the resources and technology needed to conduct rigorous scientific research on UAPs. Imagine state-of-the-art labs, advanced sensors, purpose-built observatories, all dedicated to unraveling this mystery.
So our UAP university could actually become a reality. I love it. What else do you see happening?
Second, I believe we'll see a significant increase in government transparency. More classified documents will be released, more officials will speak openly about UAPs, and there will be greater public access to information.
So the truth is out there, and it's slowly but surely coming to light.
I believe so. And this increased transparency will lead to more public engagement, more citizen science initiatives, and a greater sense of collective ownership in the mystery of UAPs.
I'm really liking these predictions. More research, more transparency. It sounds like we're heading in the right direction. What's your third prediction?
Third, I think we'll start to see real progress in understanding the technology behind UAPs. Scientists will begin to develop theories and models that can explain the seemingly impossible capabilities of these objects, potentially leading to breakthroughs in areas like propulsion, energy generation, and material science.
So we might actually figure out how they fly, how they maneuver, how they defy gravity.
That's the hope. And just imagine the implications of that. Those breakthroughs could have a ripple effect across countless industries, leading to advancements in aerospace engineering, energy production, transportation, and more.
It's almost too much to imagine. But there's one more prediction I'm dying to hear. Alien contact. Do you think it will happen within the next 10 years?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's impossible to say for sure, but I think it's a real possibility. We're already seeing a shift in the way governments and scientists are approaching UAPs. There's a growing recognition that some of these phenomena might represent something truly extraordinary, something beyond our current understanding of the natural world.
So the idea of alien contact is moving from the realm of science fiction to the realm of possibility.
Exactly. And if contact does occur, it will be a watershed moment in human history, a moment that will force us to confront our deepest fears and hopes, to reevaluate our place in the universe, and to embrace the unknown with a mix of caution and wonder.
Okay, I think I need a moment to process all of this. New research institutions, government transparency, technological breakthroughs, alien contact, it's a lot to take in.
It is mind-boggling. But that's the beauty of the UAP mystery. It challenges us to expand our thinking, to embrace the unknown, and to imagine a future that is both exhilarating and uncertain.
Well, before we get completely lost in the vastness of the cosmos, let's take a moment to ground ourselves. Stay tuned, folks, because when we come back, we'll be diving even deeper into the implications of UAPs for humanity's future. Okay, we're back and ready to really dig into the heart of this UAP discussion. We've explored the history, the science, the possibilities, but what does it all mean? What are the implications of all of this for humanity's future?
You know, that's the question that takes us beyond data points and radar readings. It pushes us into the realms of philosophy, ethics, and even spirituality.
All right, let's go there. If UAPs really are evidence of other intelligent life out there, advanced civilizations beyond our own, how does that change how we see ourselves, our place in the universe?
It's a huge shift, isn't it? For centuries, we've seen ourselves as the pinnacle of creation, the only intelligent life in this vast cosmos. But if we're not alone, if there are others out there, maybe even far more advanced, well, that changes everything.
It's humbling, to say the least.
It really is. And it forces us to confront some fundamental questions. Who are we in this vast universe? What does it even mean to be intelligent? What are the different forms intelligence can take?
So it's not just about science and technology, it's about a fundamental shift in our worldview, in our understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos.
Exactly. And it's not just about individuals either. Imagine the impact on our institutions, our governments, our religions.
Right. The very foundations of our societies could be shaken.
Absolutely. It would be like, well, some have compared it to the Copernican revolution. We're no longer the center of the universe. We're part of something much grander, more complex, and ultimately more mysterious.
It's mind-blowing to think about, but let's try to bring this back down to earth for a moment. How might UAPs actually affect our everyday lives? What about the practical implications for technology, our societies?
Well, the most immediate impact would likely be on our technology. Imagine if we could understand the principles behind UAP propulsion, their energy sources, their materials.
Right. We're talking about potential breakthroughs that could revolutionize everything from transportation to energy production to, well, who knows what else? Flying cars, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, it's impossible to say for certain what we might learn from studying UAP technology, but the potential is there.
And even if we don't end up with flying cars, even smaller advancements could have a huge impact on our lives.
Absolutely. Think about improvements in aircraft design, more efficient energy grids, new materials with extraordinary properties. These innovations could transform industries, create new jobs, and help us solve some of the biggest challenges facing humanity.
So the technological implications are huge, but what about the social and political impacts? I mean, how might the world change if we knew for certain that we weren't alone in the universe?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's likely that there would be a period of, well, profound adjustment. Governments and institutions would need to adapt, religious beliefs might be challenged, and people all over the world would have to grapple with this new reality.
It sounds like a time of great uncertainty, but maybe also a time of incredible opportunity.
I think so. Imagine nations setting aside their differences, collaborating on a global scale to study UAPs, and prepare for potential contact.
Right, a shared challenge that could bring humanity together like never before.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe contact with an extraterrestrial civilization would force us to finally confront the existential threats we face here on Earth. Climate change, poverty, conflict.
It's like having a common other to unite against, or maybe a common friend to learn from.
Either way, it could be a catalyst for positive change, a chance to reevaluate our priorities and work together to create a better future for all of humanity.
Okay, now you're getting me excited. But let's not sugarcoat things. There are also risks, right?
Yeah.
What if contact doesn't go as smoothly as we hope?
Right, we've all seen those science fiction movies where things go horribly wrong. And that's a valid concern. We don't know what to expect. But that's why it's crucial that we approach any potential contact with caution, humility, and a willingness to learn.
So we need to be explorers, but also diplomats, and maybe even anthropologists, trying to understand a new culture and navigate the complexities of intercultural communication on a cosmic scale.
Exactly. We're stepping into uncharted territory, and we need to be prepared for anything.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the history of UAPs to the mind-blowing implications for our future. What are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the study of UAPs is a legitimate scientific pursuit. It's not about conspiracy theories or pseudoscience. It's about asking tough questions, examining the evidence, and being open to new possibilities, even those that challenge our current understanding of the world.
And I would add that the implications of UAPs go far beyond science and technology. They touch on our deepest philosophical, ethical, and spiritual beliefs. They force us to confront profound questions about the nature of intelligence, consciousness, and our place in the universe.
Well said. And ultimately, I think the study of UAPs is a journey of discovery. It's a journey that requires courage, curiosity, and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
And who knows what incredible things we might find along the way. This has been an amazing conversation, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning of the exploration.
I agree. The mystery of UAPs is far from solved, but the journey itself is full of wonder and possibility.
So to all our listeners out there, keep looking up, keep asking questions, keep that sense of wonder alive. Who knows what we might discover together?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring the unknown.